Hello everyone, Mazzeus here. It's been a long from the last deck profile in English and now here we go again. I know my pronunciation is not perfect, but I hope that this video will be helpful to you. Now, let's talk about our Tearlaments. Today's deck profile of Tearlaments does not have any horse in it. This is because I didn't want to spend any money on that engine, and I do not play SP Little Knight either. SP Little Knight is a very strong card, and here in Italy it costs about 90 euro. So it is pretty expensive and I do not want to spend that much money in some cards. But now let's talk about this profile. The main deck have 3 copies of Reinhardt. If you do not know already Tearlaments, please let me know in the comment and I will do a video for you. After Reinhardt we play also 3 copies of Tearlaments Kashtira. I think it's really strong inside this deck, it's really broken and it can help us a lot. Then we have 1 copy of Shiren, of course, 1 of Evnis and 1 of Merli, 3 copies of Perlereno, 2 copies of Scream, 2 copies of Suliek, 1 copy of Meta Rumore, I do not remember the name in English, and sorry for that, 1 copy of Trivikarma, and then I play also 2 copies of Visa Starfrost. About Visas, I think that is quite interesting inside this deck. This is because it has a level 6 and he is also a tuner. Now with the level 6, as you know, we can summon our Beatrice, and with the tuner we can summon our Baron. 2 strong cards, 2 very important cards for the deck, especially Beatrice. Beatrice is really broken inside this deck. Then we have 2 copies of Diviner, and for the Shizu package we have Kelbeck, Agido, Mudora and Keldo. Now that we arrive at this point of our video, we can move on to what I consider the utilities of this deck. And I play 1 copy of Destrudo. Destrudo can be helpful in a lot of different situations. You can special summon it from hand or graveyard, paying half of your life points, and you can do it only if you control a level 6 or lower monster. I think that is very interesting because thanks to Destrudo we can have an easy access to Baron de Fleur, or also we can use it for a XE summon or also for a Link summon, why not? I run inside this deck also a package of Danger with 2 copies of Nessie and 1 copy of Mothman. I think that is pretty good inside this deck, especially for Nessie, since it's an aqua monster, you can use it to summon Kaleido Heart. Then I have 2 copies of Malicious and also Shama. Then I like to play also 2 copies of King of the Swamp. I know that some people just do not play this card anymore. I think that it's still very useful inside this deck, so I do not want to carry it out. I know it's a bit bricky, and in this list it's even more brickier. But this is because I do not play Polymerization inside this deck, but I think that this card is still very important inside this deck, so I want to play it. Then we play 3 copies of Forbidden Droplet, very useful inside this deck. We can send cards Tearlaments from field or hand to the graveyard so that they can activate their effect. The last 3 cards of this list are RP Feather Duster, it can always be helpful, 1 copy of Foolish Burial and 1 copy of Card Destroyer. Moving on our extra deck, we have 2 copies of Kaleido Heart. I know. It is normal to play 1 copy of this card, but I think that 2 is right, and this is because if we unfortunately lose 1 Kaleido Heart because get banished, because we cannot recycle him from our graveyard, I think that a 2nd copy can still be helpful in our extra deck. Of course, if you are not agreeing with me, please cut the 2nd copy and play whatever you like. I also have 1 copy of Rulkallos, another card that you can also carry it off, but I think that is still pretty useful inside the deck. I play also one copy of Astrolad Vicious. Since we are playing Visa Starfrost, I think that this card can be very helpful inside the deck right now. One copy of Grafa, I think that is mandatory inside this deck. One copy of Dragostapelia, very useful also this one. One copy of Garura, we can use it to do Beatrix and then detach it for draw 1. One copy of Winda, one copy of Swamp Dragon. Then for our Xyz we play of course Beatrice, one copy of Redware, one copy of Bahamut. We can do Bahamut with 2 water monster, so it's pretty easy to do inside this deck, and thanks to Bahamut we can also play our Totally Awesome. And then we have one copy of Baron and one copy of the Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. I'm very curious to know what do you think about this deck profile. Probably a lot of you are really angry right now with me, but okay, let's hope not. And that's it for real. Thank you guys. We will talk again in the next video. Bye bye.